What is your greatest accomplishment? In a job interview can be super nerve-wracking and anxiety-inducing. You're probably wondering, well, does it have to be a professional accomplishment? What if I have my greatest accomplishment is personal? Or how do I talk about my greatest accomplishment without sounding like a super conceited jerk? There's a lot of anxiety around it, but today I'm going to give you why this question is asked and then how to actually answer it. Okay, I always think it helps to start with why the question is being asked. So, you're being asked, what is your greatest accomplishment, for 3 reasons. 1, to see how it aligns with the role. 2, to see what your idea of success looks like. And 3, to see how you accomplish things. Okay, and if we haven't met, just real quick, my name is Cassandra. I'm a career speaker and coach. I help people go from hating work to happy work, and I am happy you're here with me today. So if this video gives you value, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really does help. But now let's go back to what's your greatest accomplishment. Okay, the most important thing in your answer needs to be that it aligns to the role. So really, at the end of the day, it can be any kind of accomplishment as long as it has some alignment to the role. But don't tell me about how you ran a marathon if part of the role has nothing to do with perseverance, right? It needs to align in some way, shape, or form. So you can start by looking at the job description and seeing what the qualifications are, the requirements are, and thinking about what's something you've accomplished that would demonstrate that skill. But for some reason, on this question in particular, I have found that it actually helps to think of your accomplishment first and then tie it to a role, or tie it to the role based off some skill or experience. So I like to start by thinking about what is something you've done that you are proudest of. Now, it might be a personal accomplishment. I'm going to challenge you to try and think of a professional accomplishment. But really, take this moment to just think about things you've done before that you're proud of. Jot them down. But now we need to dig deeper. Why are you proud of that thing? Or even go through a couple of them. Why are you proud of these things? What does it say about you? That's the real key. What does that accomplishment say about you? If it's personal, like, not saying I would use this in a position, but let's say that it's over the last year, you lost 50 pounds. Well, that shows that you can set a goal and stick to it. Let's say it's something work related, like you put on a huge gala for your nonprofit. Well, it says that you are a person who can lead. It says that you are a person who can multitask. So think about the accomplishment, then think about why it's important to you, but then think about what does it say about you? Sometimes when we go through the why it's important, we don't get straight to the words of what it says about you. So that's why I like all 3 questions. And often when you get to that, what does it show or say about you question, that is what connects to the job. So for example, an accomplishment I'm proud of is that in my last role, I had to build relationships with companies and people working at companies in the entertainment industry so that they would meet with my students. And not only did I build those relationships, I beat our department goals by at least 25% every semester. Now, let's say the new role I'm going for is in business development, and a huge piece of that is building relationships. I can tie this employer relations accomplishment to the new position by talking about how building these relationships really showed me that I have strong relationship building skills, that it's something I enjoy doing, and that it's something that I seem to be above average in doing. Now, this is just like the basis for an answer. That is not the full answer, because the full answer needs to be in what now? STAR method, right? We need to have that STAR method answer. So situation, task, action, result. Yes, even on a greatest accomplishment, you need to be giving STAR. Now remember, when you're giving a STAR answer, you want to give some specifics so that they can picture what you're talking about and go on the journey with you. So for my example, the situation and the task, because often they go together. So I do put the S and T together, situation and task. In my previous role, each career specialist was assigned the task of meeting with 20 employers within their industries so that they would meet with students. And we had different touch points that we had to meet, and they could be anything from a low touch, like an email, to high touch, like an in-person event with our students. Okay, the action. Every semester, I would reach out to different employers, first through email, phone calls, etc., in order to get in touch and just learn about them and learn about their goals for their talent pipeline. And then once I met with them, I would come up with a plan of how we could work together. But this also included following up with them, checking in, because that relationship shouldn't just be a one-time thing or a only when I need something thing, but an ongoing relationship. So I would track who I met with, what sort of touch points they had with our students, and then would develop new ways for them to meet with students based not off only my goals, but also their goals for their talent pipeline. And then that ended up being a great way to not just have a one-off relationship for one semester, but an ongoing relationship for years to come. Now the result. These actions resulted in me having over 40 employers I worked with basically every semester and increasing that number of new employers and new touch points. But here's where we do something different. Unlike a regular star, on this one, we also want to add the why. Why was this all important? This is an accomplishment I'm really proud of and I think is important because it demonstrates that I have relationship building skills. It's something I seem to do well at. And I really enjoy building these relationships and keeping them going for years into the future. So again, for this question, it's star plus why, okay? Now, it might feel like you're bragging, but Rob Lowe has this quote where he's like, it's not bragging if you've done it. And as long as you're just giving the facts, it's okay. Even when I say I seem to be above average at this, well, I just said I did 25% more at least than any other career specialist or beat those goals. I could have also added in that I always had the most employers of any specialist. It would just show that I did seem to do well at this. It's just the facts. It's stated right there. So same thing, as long as you're not adding any color commentary, as long as you're just stating the facts of these are the things I did, this is what it resulted in, this is why I think it's important, it's not bragging. You did it. Okay, so what if your greatest accomplishment is more personal than professional? Well, first I would clarify with them, does it need to be a professional accomplishment or is it okay if it's a personal accomplishment? As long as they say they're okay with personal, that's fine. Go ahead and give your personal accomplishment. Next, I would honestly stay away from personal accomplishments unless you can make a compelling case of why this is the accomplishment you're bringing up. You need to have a really compelling reason of why. So earlier I gave that example of running a marathon. If this is a job where you're in cold calling sales and you have to deal with perseverance to get through those rejections, maybe the marathon is a great example, right? But in other cases, it wouldn't be. So it really boils down to, can you make the case for why this accomplishment would show success for this role in particular? Another thing with personal accomplishments, I would really stay away from anything with spouses, children, or family members, solely because this is disclosing information that they're not even allowed to ask you about. So I say try to stay away from it, but go with your gut. There's always that one-off situation that works, and I know someone's going to comment and go, but Cassandra, this thing happened to me with my kids and blah, 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 and it is my greatest accomplishment. Go with your gut. So again, other than that area of family, I truly believe you can honestly say almost anything as long as you can make that compelling case as to why it matters in relation to this role. Okay, so now that we've answered greatest accomplishment, let's be real. They're going to ask you, what's your greatest weakness? Go watch that video here or get more interview tips here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.